Anfield under the lights. The sound of "You'll Never Walk Alone" echoing across the stands. And a new forward stepping out with the weight of a city on his shoulders. Liverpool supporters know this story well. Torres carried it, Suarez carried it, Firmino carried it, and now in 2025, it's Hugo Ekitike's turn. If you haven't been paying attention, you're about to find out why Liverpool may have just unlocked a monster who could define their future. And here's the thing. If you want to see how Hugo Ekitike went from being a skinny kid in Reims to one of Europe's most talked about young strikers, just watch the video until the end. His journey isn't smooth. It's full of rejection, learning curves, and big decisions that brought him to Anfield. So let's start with the present, because numbers never lie. By October 2025, Hugo Ekitike has already racked up 5 goals and 1 assist in 9 appearances across all competitions for Liverpool. That's not the kind of start you expect from a young striker adjusting to the demands of English football. That's the start of someone who looks like he belongs. Someone who looks like he's been waiting for this stage his entire life. And remember, this isn't just a raw kid arriving from nowhere. Ekitike has already proven his quality back in France with Reims, hitting double figures in Ligue 1 before he turned 20. He spent a season at PSG learning from some of the greatest players in world football, before deciding he needed more than a bench role in Paris. That decision brought him here, to Liverpool. And the early signs show he made the right call.
Kicked for the first time, we're very proud, and yeah, it's been a long day.
So before we go deeper into his story, let me say this. If you're enjoying this breakdown already, take 2 seconds to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support means the world to us, and it allows us to keep creating deep dives like this one. Now, to really understand Hugo Ekitike, you gotta rewind. Back to his beginnings in Reims, a city in northern France where he grew up with Cameroonian heritage. Money was tight, opportunities were few, but talent doesn't care about circumstances. From a young age, he was obsessed with football. Coaches recall a kid who was skinny, sometimes overshadowed by bigger teammates, but who always had that touch, that movement, that eye for goal. At 11 years old, he joined the Reims Academy, and by 18, he was making his professional debut. Within 2 years, he was a breakout star, scoring 10 goals in the 2021-22 Ligue 1 season. Scouts across Europe were suddenly circling. This wasn't just another French forward. This was someone who looked like he could be special. Some even drew comparisons to Thierry Henry. Tall, elegant, deadly in transition. Big boots to fill. But Hugo didn't shy away. Then came PSG. The giants of French football swooped in, first on loan with an option to buy. It should have been a dream. Training every day with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe? Most young strikers would give anything for that chance. But the reality was different. Minutes were hard to come by. PSG, as they often do, demanded instant results. And patience, well, it wasn't part of the plan. Ekitike managed a few goals, but never really established himself as a starter. For some, that could have been the end. But for Hugo, it was just the education he needed. Because, just think about it. He spent a season in training with some of the best attackers of this generation. Watching Messi's movements, Neymar's creativity, Mbappe's explosiveness. That's a crash course in elite football. And it prepared him for the moment Liverpool came calling. Liverpool were at a crossroads. Jurgen Klopp had stepped down. Arne Slot had taken over, and the club was shifting toward a new era. Several big names had moved on, and suddenly there was space for a young forward to come in and make a mark. Ekitike, with his mix of size, pace, and skill, was the perfect fit.
The second half, Ekitike, there it goes!
Slot's system isn't easy. It demands high pressing, intelligent movement, and versatility. You just can't stand in the box and wait for service. You gotta create space, link with midfielders, and drag defenders out of position. And that's exactly what Ekitike brings. In matches this season, you can already see how he works with Salah, stretching back lines and opening lanes for Cody Gakpo and Dominic Szoboszlai to exploit. He isn't just scoring himself, he's making the entire attack that much more dangerous. Now, here's an interesting fact that shows you what kind of mentality he has. Before signing for Liverpool, Hugo had interest from several Bundesliga clubs and even from Premier League sides like West Ham, but he turned them down. He wasn't looking for the easiest path. He wanted the right project. He wanted a club where he could develop, but also compete at the highest level. That's why he chose Liverpool. And for the price, Liverpool signed Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt in July 2025 for £69 million up front plus £10 million in add-ons, making the deal worth up to £79 million. Now, here's a question for you. Do you think Liverpool have just signed their next 20 goals a season striker? Or will Hugo fall short like so many next big things before him? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll be pinning the best arguments. So now let's talk style of play. At 6'2", you might expect him to be a target man, but that's way too simplistic. Yes, he can hold the ball up and win aerial duels, but what makes him really special is how he moves. He drifts into wide channels, he drops deep to connect midfield with attack, and he bursts into the box at just the right moment. That unpredictability makes him a nightmare to mark, and in Slot's high-pressing Liverpool, he's got the engine to close defenders down, forcing mistakes and creating chances from nothing. Of course, he's not perfect. Critics will point out that his finishing can still be inconsistent. At times, he snatches at chances. He'll need to become more clinical if he wants to match the numbers of legends like Torres or Suarez. But at 23 years old, he's got time, and the foundation is all there. Let's not forget too that Liverpool's attack is in transition. Salah remains the talisman, but he's in his 30s now. Cody Gakpo is versatile but still searching for consistency. Young midfielders like Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott are creative sparks, but they need a striker to finish off the moves. Hugo, wearing the number 22, is stepping into a space where the team needs him to be the guy, and so far, he's showing he can handle it. Now, let me pause here for a quick reminder. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more deep dives coming your way, and your support is what keeps this channel alive. Now back to Hugo. What really excites Liverpool fans is his ceiling. Just imagine him in 2 or 3 years, fully adapted to the Premier League, sharper in front of goal, and with even better chemistry with Salah and Gakpo. That's a forward line that could challenge anyone in Europe. And speaking of Europe, this is where Liverpool's gamble could really pay off. With the Champions League expanded and competition fiercer than ever, having a young, hungry striker like Ekitike can make the difference in those knockout nights. Now, here's another angle. Think about the strikers Liverpool have had over the last 15 years. Torres, electric but short-lived. Suarez, world-class but gone too soon.
Suarez still.
Firmino, selfless and brilliant, but never the pure scorer. Nunez, talented but inconsistent, and now gone to Saudi Arabia. Liverpool have been searching for someone who can blend goals with link-up play, someone who can be both lethal and reliable. Hugo Ekitike might just be that answer. Now, imagine this scenario. It's a Champions League quarterfinal at Anfield. Salah cuts inside, slips a through ball between 2 defenders, and Ekitike burst onto it. 6'2", striding forward, one-on-one with the keeper. That's the picture Liverpool fans are dreaming of. And if he delivers those moments on the big stage, we'll be talking about him as more than just potential. We'll be talking about a superstar. But here's the twist. Will he get there? Or will the pressure of replacing big names, the intensity of the Premier League, and the weight of Anfield just be too much? That's the debate, and I want to hear what you think. So will Hugo Ekitike become Liverpool's next great forward? Or will he just be remembered as another name in the long line of what could have been strikers? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to smash the like button if you enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss our next breakdown. Your support means everything to us. Liverpool may have just unlocked a monster, and the football world should be very afraid.